It being 4:45 p.m., the Lafourche Parish Council special meeting of May 23rd, 2017 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, can we get roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jones. Here. Ms. Bozito. Here. Mr. Grow. Here. Mr. Melvin. Here. Mr. Bourgeois is out of town. Mr. Perilou.
Here. Mr.
Autain. Here. Mr. Lafont is ill. Mr. Lorraine. Here. And Mr. Cantrell. Here.
If everyone rises, we'll have an invocation led by Mr. Autain, followed by the pledge led by Mr. Lorraine.
Almighty Father, please watch over us as we have these proceedings tonight, and let us make the best interests to our constituency. Amen.
Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, on this special meeting, it's for a resolution approving the hiring of attorney Alex Prochaska. Is that right? Prochaska?
Prochaska.
Okay, and their law firm of Jones Walker LLP to perform any and all legal defense services for Lafourche Parish government regarding the Choctaw levy, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. And before we move on, we have a substitute resolution, which is technically an amendment, I guess.
Yeah, but the way it's written, I figured it'd just be easier to substitute, to take the hourly rates out, that they were over the Attorney General's allowable amounts, but I didn't have him agree to it before we put it together, and Lisa recommended we write the resolution like that to get it in because time was of the essence. And then when I got him to commit to it later in the day, and he sent another document, so now it's all clean like it should have been.
Okay, the substitute resolution reads, a resolution approving the hiring of attorney Alex P. Prochaska and their law firm of Jones Walker LLP to perform any and all legal defense services for Lafourche Parish government regarding the Choctaw levy and to provide compensation in accordance with the Louisiana Attorney General's fee schedule, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Any discussion? Being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor?
We need a motion and a second, Mr.
Mr.
Lorraine.
Lorraine, you sponsored this. Second, anyone? Mr. Melvin seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2. We have a motion to adjourn this special meeting. Move to adjourn, second by Mr. Melvin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Special meeting adjourned at 4:49 p.m. It being 5 o'clock, the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of May 23rd, 2017 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, roll call, please.
Mr. Jones. Here. Ms. Bozito. Here. Mr. Grow. Here. Mr. Melvin. Here. Mr. Bourgeois is out of town. Mr. Perilou. Here. Mr. Autain. Here. Mr. Lafont is ill. Mr. Lorraine. Here. And Mr. Cantrell.
All right, if everyone please rises, the invocation will be led by Mr. Autain, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Lorraine. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Section A, approval of minutes. Number 1, motion to accept the minutes of the May 4th, 2017 special session. Moved by Ms. Esposito, second by Mr. Grow. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2. Number 2, motion to accept the minutes of the May 9th, 2017 regular session meeting. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2. Number 3, motion to accept the minutes of the May 11th, 2017 special session. Moved by Mr. Grow, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2. Section B, presentations and/or updates. Mrs. Esposito.
I'd like to request we deviate and go to the unanimous agenda.
Okay, we have a second to go to a unanimous agenda.
I'm against it.
All right, no unanimous agenda. Sorry, Mrs. Esposito. Moving to Section B, presentations and/or updates. Parish President James B. Cantrell to present the Employee of the Month Award and WOW Awards for the month of April, which was deferred from May 9th, 2017.
There are 8 WOW recipients for April. The first one, Mr. Jeremy Battle, is an Equipment Operator 3 and pumper for the Public Works Department at the Choctaw Field Office. Comment for his nomination. Jeremy has been employed by the parish for over 12 years. He is an outstanding worker who gets along great with his co-workers and rarely takes a day off. He gets his work orders for the day and needs very little supervision to complete his task. Jeremy is very deserving of the Employee of the Month Award. Is Jeremy Battle? Okay. The following gentlemen were nominated as a group. They work for the Public Facilities Department in Thibodaux. First one is Chris Landry, Public Facilities Manager. Next, you want to take a picture of each or one? Next is Leon Verda, Public Facilities Repair Tech. Next, Mr. David Trosclair, Building Custodian. He's got a few of these. Next, Mr. Randall Robichaud, Public Facilities Repair Tech. Next, Ronald Saunier, Public Facilities Repair Tech. Next, Michael Williams, Laborer. And next, Corey Claymore, Laborer. Here's a comment for their nomination. We would like to nominate the Public Facilities Department for all of their hard work and dedication in renovating the old agricultural building for the Department of Civil Service. Chris, Leon, David, Randall, Ronald, Mike, and Corey worked each and every day to clean, paint, stain, pull up old flooring, lay carpet, lay flooring, plumbing, and electrical work, as well as maintain their regular daily duties. The Public Facilities Department did all of the renovating themselves, and the building looks great. The men work well together and have fun on the job while still getting the tasks done. When we're ready to move, they were bright and early and helped move all of our furniture, files, and boxes. We appreciate all their hard work, and we get many compliments every time someone comes in a new office. Next, the Employee of the Month is Ms. Celise Coxon. Calise Coxon. Calise has been with Head Start for over 25 years. She is a family involvement specialist for the Head Start program in Thibodaux. Here are the comments from her 2 nominations. Calise is such a versatile team member who has been with Lafourche Parish Head Start since 1991. Her career began as a teacher in a classroom and through the years has moved into the family involvement department. When asked to complete tasks outside of her expertise, Calise does so without any questions or hassle. This year, Calise was asked to relocate her office on a temporary basis to help out with another staff member resign. When asked to do this, she embraced the task with a smile and never once questioned how much longer or when am I going to get back to my office. Mind you, she relocated juggled other tasks, and continued to service our caseload of 80 families during this period of time with a smile. It is clearly evident that Khalees takes great pride in serving the children and families in Lafourche Parish Head Start. When my first child began in Head Start program, I was unsure what I would do now that my child was enrolled. I would often go to school and volunteer in my child's classroom because I was unemployed. Khalees would speak to me on a daily basis and encourage me to do something productive now that my child was in the program. She would give me listings of open jobs as well as phone numbers to potential employees. Khalees' efforts continued for several weeks, and soon I had a part-time job, but it was not fulfilling. After several other conversations with Khalees, I decided to enroll in school and further my education for myself and my child. She constantly encouraged me to better myself so I may become a better provider for my child. Since these conversations and simple acts of kindness, I now obtain full-time employment where I'm quite satisfied. I am also a full-time student pursuing a bachelor's degree in business. Khalees deserves this award because she gave extra time to show care and compassion for me and my child. Her constant smile and Christian attitude encouraged me to take an extra step in life now that my child was receiving a head start. She was very relatable as I am a single mother. Special thanks to her support as a parent meetings as well, always providing handouts with activities for me and my child to complete together, and great tips for a family that is on a budget.
All right, moving right along. Section C, engineers and architect reports. Any engineer reports?
Good evening, Jack Plazos with Piciola and Associates.
Address?
115 Piciola Parkway, Galliano.
Thank you.
That's from March. May, okay. The first project I'm going to talk about is finishing up now. This is road sales tax 24K drainage near West 11th Street in LaRose. The project is complete. Basically what the contractor's doing right now is doing some final grading and shaping along the West 11th ditch, which is on the upper left-hand photograph right in here. West 11th would be here. This is the new outfall canal that was filled in and bypassed. So the catch basin here is now taking the water along Highway 3235, which you can see on the lower left side. We had some rain, as you know, in the last month, and some heavy rains in LaRose, and it's a big improvement. We've seen some noticeable benefits. So the project's basically done. Moving on. Back one. The Coastal Pump Station in Lockport, District 7 and District 5. The contractor mobilized during the month of May and demolished the old pump station structure and is beginning to lay out the sheet pile, which I'm going to try to point it in. You know, we have steel sheet pile here. This is all the new work, and that's going to create the dam between the unprotected side of the Borough Canal and the protected side of the Borough Canal and the unprotected side. So you can see what's going on. We have two 48-inch axial pumps that will come in later, and things are going well, but really just getting started off. Next slide is the Leeville boat launch. Thomas C. Construction had aluminum wharves delivered to the site today. They had anticipated starting the timber pile driving operations. It was a little too windy today, So depending on the weather tomorrow, they'll start to drive in the timber piles for the pavilion and then start to do timber piles along here for the aluminum wharf. I don't think there's anything else to say about these. Road sales tax, District 4, coastal. That's it. That would conclude my report. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Jack.
Okay.
Good evening. Heather Klingman with Duplantis Design Group, 314 East Bayou Road. All right, so first project, and this is actually a new one on the presentation, but this is the Lafourche Parish Community Center down in Lockport. This is a CDBG funded project, so the costs of this project are being funded, not parish funds. This is down in Lockport, off of the main curve. You can kind of see this is what we have is a site plan right now, preliminary site plan. We're actually moving forward with construction documents on this project. Property has not been purchased yet. One of the things that's actually on the agenda later on tonight is the approval of a consultant to do a wetlands delineation report. If anyone has any questions on that, essentially what's going on, not to get too detailed if y'all don't have any specific questions about it, but the property at the front where the community center and the parking lot's actually going to be, the Corps has already, I'd say, delineated and agreed that that is not wetlands. Everything else to the back, which is a pretty good chunk of property, they have said based on their preliminary review, it looks like wetlands, but they're not going to do a JD on it. So in order to know what we can or can't do with that property, we have to get a wetlands delineation done, and that's what's on the agenda for later tonight. So once that's done, the wetlands consultant can go in, can do his work, submit that to the Corps, and we'll get an official delineation saying it's all wetlands, half of it's wetlands, whatever that might be. And then based on that, will kind of tell us what the usability of the rest of that property is. So that's what's kind of, I'd say, driving the boat right now. There are some deadlines that have to be met for the CDBG funding. And you can see up here, June 9th is going to be our next submittal to get preliminary plans to the owner and CDBG for review. And then just looking beyond that, construction documents 100% are in July. Next project is Layton Pump Station. This is an HMGP funded project. We have submitted the H&H study. Oh. Got sticky buttons here. I remember this from last meeting. So H&H study was submitted in January. 30% preliminary plans were submitted earlier this month. Our next deadline is going to be June 30th for 60% plans. We've submitted our preliminary plans to DPW, so I do need to get with Mr. James and just kind of sit down and go through the plans, make sure that what we've got on there is what he wants, because if we need to make any changes, now's the time to do it. So we've got that on the plate. Mr. James and I need to sit down. Next one, it might switch over, maybe not. Okay. Parish-wide pump station drainage project, and then the next one being Timberland. Parish-wide, we've got the permits in hand, so we're finalizing that Timberland. We talked to the girl at the Corps today. We should have that. This is Timberland. She said that she was going to send the permit out today. We didn't get it, but we'll see. So we're waiting on that final permit. Next one. Waiting. Let's see. Okay. Galliano Bridge repair. Current contract completion, as everybody knows, is past 3/14. Our current, based on correspondence as of this Monday, what they were estimating is, all right, I didn't do that. I don't know what happened. Did I do something? Anybody know? I don't think I did. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I can just continue on. I don't have extra copies of this, but good thing I brought my copy. So Galliano Bridge, based on their latest schedule as of Monday, they were saying that they were expecting to have it completed on June 6th. That was based on them getting the concrete roadway poured this week. They can do it if they really get moving. Right now, they are working on drilling and epoxying the dowel bars into the existing concrete roadway so that they can pour and tie everything in with the joints. So they've still got to lay the joints for the concrete. They've got to do proof roll. So there's a good bit of work to be done. They are out there every day. They probably could have some more manpower. You know, we've asked them about that, but, you know, we're pushing them as much as we can, and we're staying on top of them. They are currently 71 days past, so that is just keeping track of liquidated damages, $35,500 in liquidated damages as of today. All right, next project is Diplomat Way and Eau Claire Drive drainage improvements. That contract, they've got the first section finished from Talbot Drive down to Free Tumble. And then from Brenda down to the back by the sewer treatment plant. I'd say they're probably about 40% completed on that back section. So they're moving along on there. Their completion date is August 25th, and I don't think they'll have any problems. They shouldn't have any problems meeting that.
Excuse me.
Yes.
How much money we have left on that project?
We're looking good as far as quantities and contract. I think we'll probably end up coming in a little bit under what we had originally anticipated. And I think I had mentioned at the last meeting there, if you look at the overall budget, you know, just including engineering, construction, the whole 9 yards, what the parish has budgeted for this project, I want to say it's maybe $20,000 extra. So, you know, if you want to sit down, Mr. Jerry, we can look at that and then look at what we anticipate that we'll have extra in the contract and see if maybe you want to put some riprap maybe in some different areas.
Yeah, did you get with the
We can look
pipeline
at
on
that.
that?
We did get with the pipeline, and the pipeline company, they confirmed that they won't let us do anything without casing that gas line. We've got all the paperwork, the documentation. It would be $60,000 to case the pipeline, based on the information that they're giving us. Again, if you can work some magic, right. we can put the riprap there, but other than that, I mean, they've told us that we can't do anything within the right-of-way without casing that line. All right, but yeah, as I said, so August is the completion date, which they'll be fine there. Next project is the streetlight permitting. We just submitted a group of permits to DOT. 1068 Highway 308, just in case anybody's gotten questions. 3361 Highway 308, 7795 Highway 308, 556 Highway 308, and then 16014 West Main Street in Cutoff. So those are the ones that we have just submitted. Last project is the hazard mitigation home elevations. We've got our fourth homeowner that is actually working through the process. She's gotten her funding, her loan for her 25% of the elevation. She's got that approved by the bank. She's just working on the contract right now with the construction company. So, and we've kind of been helping her, you know, through that process. And our next step in that would be just to sit down with her and get her to sign all the paperwork. And that's it. Any questions?
I have one. Okay, on the delineation project.
Yeah.
I noticed that it was a company out of Texas, and it's not a huge amount of money, but they beat a local company by a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
What's involved in? I mean, you mentioned that they come and just look at the wetlands. And it's a lump sum bid. They just send one person down and go back and do paperwork?
That's basically it. They send one person down. When you're looking at wetlands, and these wetlands consultants, it's kind of a very specialized environmental type of field. But what they do is they go out. You know, they actually look at the lay of the land. They take soil samples, because there's three factors that you got to look at for wetlands. It's hydrology, hydraulics, and vegetation, and then the type of soil that you have. So they actually take soil samples. They look at the vegetation. They say, okay, this is a cattail. You know, it's not. And then they do a report. Based on that report, they delineate, or they say on the site what they believe is wetlands and what they don't believe is wetlands. They'll submit that to the Corps. The Corps reviews it. The Corps, you know, usually when you have a, good delineation consultant, they'll say, okay, we agree with this. And if they do, then you get your official JD back from the Corps, and then that tells you what you have to work with. That tells you what's wetlands, what's not wetlands. Sometimes the Corps will come back and they'll argue, they'll say, I don't really agree with with what you've put here. We don't see that too often. I'm not saying it never happens, it does. But usually when you have a good wetlands consultant, they'll pretty much, the Corps will go along with what they'll say. But yeah, he is out of Texas. We've worked with the guy before. We've never had any issues. So I mean, I vouch for him. All the other ones that had submitted also were good companies. But yep.
Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, on the bridge, the contractor was Volute, right?
Yes.
And they subcontract the whole project?
They subcontracted basically the whole project. Yes, sir.
And so they're way over.
Yes.
And it's
Over time, yeah.
and I think they're not going to finish at the time that you said they were going to finish. And it's just, I don't know, I'm lost for words. I'm disappointed. I'm not happy. But I can't go fix it myself. If I could, I would.
I think we're all at that point now.
But I tell you what, it's a lesson learned. Because I think, in the future, we need to maybe be careful on who gets some of these bids. It's always the lowest qualified bidder, but sometimes the highest bidder, maybe the highest bidder would have had this done by now. And I'm just going to let it take its course. I'm not going to say something maybe I shouldn't say. But the people are getting impatient, I can tell you that. But I mean, whenever it's going to get done, it's going to get done. I'm not happy with it. I know they got liquidated damages, but I'd prefer to see it fixed.
Absolutely.
Than collect anything. So I just think in the near future, maybe we need to look at some of these things a little harder and take it from there. And I'm going to stop right now because I don't want to say something maybe I shouldn't say. Okay? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other engineer reports?
Jack Plaisance, 115 Peaceola Parkway. I didn't see a representative from T. Baker Smith, but I just wanted to bring to your attention on, item number 71 is a recommendation to award the West Side Drainage Project to BET Construction. And I just wanted to let you know that the bid is in good order. The engineer made their recommendation, and we are well below the construction budget. That's a CDBG project, which we're doing the project management on, and that should be an easy call for you if I don't mind saying so. You don't mind me saying so. It's all covered by the grant, and everything is in order. So that's all I wanted to add.
Thank you, Jack. Any other engineers? Being none, moving on to Section D, Parish President, Department heads, directors, or managers' reports, presentations, or updates.
President Cantrell has some representatives here from Crimson Gulf who want to address the council.
Please state name and address for the record, sir.
Absolutely. Make that stay. Mr. President, thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the council, thank you so very much. I'm Michael Smith. I'm the Public and Government Affairs Director for Crimson Gulf Pipeline Company, with offices now here in Raceland in Lafourche Parish, which we're very proud of. I'll speak to momentarily. I'll be brief. I'll remember the line that was taught to me by my high school speech teacher, which was always remember the 3 B's, which is to be brief, be succinct, and be seated. So I'd like to just offer you a little background, if I could, on Crimson Gulf. Crimson Gulf is a midstream crude oil pipeline company. We are now almost exactly 5 years old. We have pipe in 13 of the Louisiana parishes in either active or inactive states today, including Lafourche Parish. A total of about 1,000 miles of pipeline, both onshore and offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. We have a total number of employee count, a little over 30, approaching 40 now across all of Louisiana, and we add to that, obviously, a number of contractors. We have offices, our headquarters in Gray, offices in Belle Chase, Sunset, and now here in Raceland. I'd like to just take a second and introduce to you some of our key players here in Louisiana, if I could, starting with our operations director, Mr. Donald Smith. our Compliance Director, Mr. Gary Stovall, and our Maintenance Director, Mr. Randy Jones, and a member of my Public and Government Affairs team, Mr. Mike Walker. Together, as I said, we haul crude oil from the Gulf of Mexico now through Lafourche Parish with an exciting announcement, and I'll leave a press release behind with Ms. Babin for distribution among all the council members. But we're excited to announce that we have closed the purchase of a pipeline from ExxonMobil, which has now become a part of our Crimson Gulf pipeline network. This pipeline originates around the Empire area over in Plaquemines Parish, comes across Barataria Bay, has a few interconnects along the way north of Grand Isle and over in the Clovelly area, and then straight up through Lafourche Parish all the way to the main crude oil terminal in South Louisiana there in St. James Parish next to the Mississippi River. In all, we added 177 miles of pipe is what that tallies. We also were able to add a short link of crude oil pipe from Port Allen, Louisiana, over to Krotz Springs to help complete a delivery to a refinery there in the Krotz Springs area in central Louisiana. The good news, in addition to the fact that we have made this purchase, is we're able to retain approximately 14 jobs in the Raceland office, which is located just south of the intersection of 182 there on the Highway 308 side, the former ExxonMobil facility that I'm sure many of you are probably familiar with. In keeping with our corporate fundamental DNA, if you will, we have a corporate policy of being highly engaged in the communities where we operate. And that also includes not only putting shoe leather on the ground for charitable events like many of the different festivals that we've had this spring, but also through donating to our first responders and making sure that we are staying supportive of the first responders. Courtesy of Mr. Stovall and Mr. Smith, we've been able to support already the Lafourche Fire No. 1 with some breathing apparatus that they were in need of, as well as donating to them a response trailer that we had as surplus property that we thought that they could use there at the fire department. So we will continue to look for opportunities to do that. We look forward to working with you, Mr. President, you, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of the members of the council as we grow our relationship across Lafourche Parish. None of us are new to the crude oil industry or the pipeline industry for that matter, and many of us have had existing relationships over the years here in Lafourche Parish, and we look forward to continue growing those over time. Thank you. It's our pleasure to be with you today and share this good news with you. We're very proud to be a pipeline operator here in Lafourche Parish. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, and welcome to the parish. We appreciate you setting up shop here. Section E, questions for the administration. Mr. Jones.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, on September 27, 2016, Resolution 16-312, we requested the council pass a resolution request that you hire a consultant for property, casualty, and health insurance. Did you consider that?
Not yet.
Any plans in the future to do that?
I probably will in the near future.
With we losing Carrie Babin, the guru for insurance, we really need that because insurance is approaching fast. So we need to have something before the final vote. Thank you.
Mrs. Esposito.
Mr. President, can you give me an update on the Terrio boat launch project? Since IAD left, I don't have the new contact that took his place with that firm, and so I just need an update on the project. Can you provide that?
Not at this moment, no.
Can anyone in your staff provide it?
You would add that information as you submitted the questions earlier. We'd have looked it up for you.
Any other questions? Section F, council reports, presentations, updates, and our questions. Mr. Bagala is not here. He is en route back to Louisiana from Canada, I believe, so we're going to pass on that for the night. Section G, legal advisor report. No one. Section H, public wishing to address the council. I think we have a few.
Yes, sir. Mr. Warren Harang, if you'd approach the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record. Mr. Harang, please remember you have 3 minutes.
Warren Harang, is your mic hot? Mr. President, Council, my name is Warren Harang, and I'm running for a state Senate seat, State Senate 2. I'm a farmer. I'm a conservative businessman. I can balance a budget. I know what it's like to say we can't afford something. I say it every day. I don't think this state's got a revenue problem. I think you've got a spending problem. I'm here to take care of that. I'll work very hard for you. I'm married to the same woman for 40 years. Got 4 children, 6 grandchildren. I grew up in Lafourche Parish. I've lived in this district all of my life. I've traveled it from Port Allen, West Baton Rouge Parish, to Thibodaux, Lafourche Parish. 72,000 votes in this district. I met with every person that I could put my hands on. Family first. That's what I get. No matter who you touch, where you go, it's family first. They want a good education for their family. They want to be safe. They want to be protected from flooding through drainage, roads and bridges, very important. And none of these things can happen overnight. Long-term projects, they're out there. This district is driven by the Mississippi River and by Lafourche and the Gulf of Mexico. That's where the revenue comes from. I'm here to help you. I go to work every day. I work hard. Our challenge always is to work smart. I want you to know that. In the first primary, they had 13 candidates. I was lucky enough to be first of the 13. I was lucky, but I was humbled. I want you to know that, because we worked hard to get that done. One more time, one more vote Saturday, May the 27th. I encourage everyone to vote. I encourage you to vote for me. But if you can't vote for me, vote anyway. It's your right. And I appreciate everyone coming out to do it. If I can be of any help to anyone, don't ever hesitate. I'm here for you. Thank you very much for having me, and you have a good day.
Have a question, Mr. Jones?
Hey.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for a good race. It was a great race, clean race. And you know, I said I would support you. If I'm not in the runoff, I would support you. And I'm standing behind that. So
I appreciate that,
I wish you the
Jerry.
best of luck.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you saying those things. I think we ran a very good race, a very upbeat race, and we kept the ball between the sidelines. Very important. We talked about what I want to do, not about anyone else. And we had many opportunities to do that. I'll never take the low road. Here I am. What you see is what you get. Nothing fancy, ladies and gentlemen, but I will work for you. Thank you very much.
I didn't know you still can ride horse like that either.
Okay, who's next?
Ms. Rachel Hebert, if you'd approach the podium, Ms. Hebert, please state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Rachel Hebert, and I live at 458 Sugar Trail, Houma, Louisiana. Just moved to Houma this year because I feel like I got kind of booted out of Lafourche Parish. I'm going to give you a little background of who I am. My husband and I built and ran Harris Po' Boys out of LaRose for 26 years. We did it together. We bought property in Lockport in, oh God, my brain's starting. We bought property in Lockport because we wanted to build our dream house there. That's where we're going to retire. Well, no sooner we bought the property, Parish comes in and starts telling us that we have to start moving. Well, not myself, because we hadn't did anything else on the property, but that everybody else had to start moving sheds and things over because they were going to start digging. So we started talking about the people there. People there said it was, well, one man behind me said that there was no ditch. Then they said there's a 2-foot ditch, and then we had a controversy about a ditch. Mr. Cantrell came out there, he and James Bourne, and said that it was, we had a 20-foot servitude when we bought the property. Let's go back, I'm sorry. That 20-foot servitude when we bought the property. Well, meanwhile, Parish came in and built a 5.5-foot ditch. Now the ditch is now at 14.5. Now it's at 16.5. So the ditch is getting larger. So we didn't know when we bought on the plat it says 20-foot servitude. Well, the lawyer didn't tell us that it's plus width of ditch, meaning if the ditch is 15 feet, the parish can come and take an extra 20 feet. So we started having controversy with them. First meeting, Mr. Jimmy Cantrell said he'd get out there and he would see what he can do to help us out. Well, we used to be real good friends with Jimmy, so I really thought he was going to help us out. Next meeting we have is because Parish comes there and they start putting pickets 20 foot from the ditch. They were going to start to dig. So called them in, had a meeting again with them. This time we brought in a lot of other people, you know, from the neighborhood. We came to an agreement. Jimmy and I were going to get with Thibodeau. We were going to sit down and discuss this matter. Well, by that afternoon, I got a phone call saying to get me a lawyer. They weren't discussing anything. So we did. We got a lawyer. We went to court. I didn't present a lot of things into court because I had never been to court and I just couldn't think clearly. So I'm not going to bring up the stuff that came out, that didn't come out. I'm just going to tell you the stuff that did come out, which was they came and they put the pickets. They did not do any surveying. They did not do anything. They just came and randomly put uneven pickets, so which scared us, which made us decide that we had to get the lawyer because they gave us, this happened 1 week, and by the next Monday, they were going to start digging. So we went to court. The judge made boundaries. We also lost an extra 5 feet, so now we're 30 feet from the property line instead of 20, okay? Well, on the other, we bought 2 lots there. So on the other lot, there was no ditch at all. The woman made a ditch, but put a culvert in it. I was told by Mr. James Bourne that wherever there's a culvert, they will always add another culvert. Well, the second meeting, that wasn't going to happen, and they were going to dig where they wanted to dig. So that's why we went to court. Make a long story short. Well, the judge ruled that it was going to be a 30-foot. He put boundaries because he would, like he said, like we did, you can't keep taking property. Now, he told them the parish either has to buy our property if they want the whole property, or they had a 30-foot servitude. Now, we all know nobody's going to come and maintain the ditch. As it gets larger, we're going to have to take care of it, or we're going to keep losing property. So after the judge ruled, our lawyer sent us something in the mail asking if we wanted to, controverse, whatever, go back, like, wanted him to go back and I guess have the judge reward or whatever if we weren't satisfied. Well, no, we weren't satisfied, but you know what? We felt the judge, he's a judge, his word is what it was. We weren't happy, but kids weren't happy with parents do either. So we settled, okay, we lost 30 feet from the property line. Well, our lawyer calls us and tells us that the parish is not satisfied with that. With the wording that they're doing, what they want Guy to write down is we're going to be back in court because on one side they don't want to address what the judge said because the judge put it's only a 15-foot servitude because there's no ditch on a lot of the property. It's just a property line. There's no ditch. And on the other side, it's a 30 feet. Well, they're not satisfied with that. What we really want the council is to help us out to get this to stop. The judge made an order. Let the judge's order stand. It's a 30-foot servitude. This is ridiculous. This is going on and on and on. How much property does the parish have a right to come and take from you? And when does it stop? I feel, okay, we went to court. We paid the court fees. We did everything we had to do. The judge ruled on it. It's got to stop now. council should, the parish should say, okay, this is what it is, and this is what it is. And if Guy doesn't, from what my lawyer is telling me, if they worded the way the parish wants it to be worded, what the judge said about the 30 feet, that's not going to be written. It's not going to be written down. So the parish, when they lose the property up to 30 feet, we're right back in court trying to fight for some more property. And then on the other side, the same way. So I'm just asking y'all, we lost. We feel we lost. We lost an extra from 20 foot to 30 feet, okay? Well, we swallowed. We're good. Just let it stop now. How much more is this going to go on? I mean, we went with the judge is saying. I think the parish should too. Thank y'all.
I have a question for you.
Mr. Melvin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming, because we could use information, well, just to help people. No matter what the subject, we appreciate people coming in, at least I do, coming to talk to us. Would you say, because I'm dealing with a situation, not the exact same thing, but the same thing with a ditch. We have to maintain ditches, we dig them, and they fluff in, and that's just kind of a fact of life. In my opinion, I'd like to see some of these major outfalls in different neighborhoods where they could be culverted with, square 48-inch diameter, whatever we need, because these ditches will continue, in my opinion, to fluff in. House in my neighborhood has she says she's lost 9 feet. So if you measure from the ditch now, it's like the parish owns part of her house, you see. So I can relate to what you're saying from my point of view. But I guess we can look into it. I don't know exactly what we can or can't do, but I can appreciate that because I'm looking at something like that right now.
All we're asking is for the parish really to stop. Leave us alone now. I feel like, okay, you won now, but I mean, it's like they just don't want to stop. They don't want to take the judge's ruling that there's a boundary. It's like, and the judge even said it, if you want more property than that, then you buy their property.
Right, and I appreciate that. I'm going to definitely look into it and see, because I'm dealing with it right now. And I hope you and the public differentiate between the legislative and administrative branch. They have powers we don't have. We have power here, but there's a lot consolidated right there. So I think that's one thing that people confuse when they read the papers, is that they just see the government. And we all part of it. We ran, and we have to own it. But it's important that we're going to look at this for you, but we need to differentiate, because, we definitely want to help you, because I don't think it's right either, because I see it happening in my own neighborhood.
Okay.
Ms. Hebert, did this drive you to move out of the parish, or?
Well, what happened was when we were selling our restaurant, okay, and this is where we wanted to build at. So what happened was we had to find somewhere to live. And actually, we went through Lafourche Parish all over, and we really could not find a house. So we wound up where we found something in Houma, and that's where we're at. But I mean, even if I'd want to build, I can't. I mean, I am really stuck on a piece of property that I cannot do anything with right now. I can't build because this is not settled. Nothing is settled, and it's like, I don't want to have to go back to court. I don't want to, I just want it to be done. I don't know why they did what they did. I don't understand why they wanted to dig, but because who wants to dig on a 15-foot ditch? There's pictures of me standing in the ditch, and the ditch swallows me up. I have both arms out, and I really want it to be done to where we can do what we need to do with our property. Just let the judge ruling rule. Let it stand on it, and that's all we're asking. I don't think we're asking for too much. We went to court. Like I said, a lot of things didn't come out. I blame myself for not bringing everything into court, which I'm not going to do now. This is all water under the bridge. Now I just want to kind of go forward and just let everything just stop.
Accept the ruling and move on? That way,
just accept the ruling and move on. That's all I'm asking.
All right, yeah, we'll definitely have to look into it and see.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming tonight, ma'am. Oh, Miss Lucy has a question for you. Sorry.
I'd like to ask if the administration wanted to address Ms. Hebert.
I don't even know it was presented in the courtroom, and I had no information right now at this present time what the ruling was, and I didn't know it was even settled. It's given to the attorney when somebody sues the parish or something's going, the attorneys are picked, and I'll look into it for her, because I gotta see it, I'll guarantee you, we'll follow whatever the ruling the judge said. We're definitely gonna follow it. We're not gonna go and go beyond what the judge said. So once I look into it, we'll look into it, and I'll get back with you.
Also, what you're telling me that once the judge ruled, then that should be it.
Well, I guess it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tommy, you have something?
To my understanding, that is what it is. We don't know anything about appealing it. I don't know that we're appealing it unless, and Mr. Babin, who was handling the appeals, the cases before, would not have done that on his own, and a lawyer wouldn't have done it on his own without going to President Cantrell, I don't believe. I mean, I will look into it, though. I mean, we will get with you. I mean, I guarantee you, because I don't know anything about it. I thought maybe President Cantrell did, but Mr. Barnes doesn't, and you know, if us three don't know, I don't know. We'll find out, and we'll get with you. Thank you.
We want you back in Lafourche, that's for sure.
Ms. Carolyn Smith, if you'd approach the podium. State your name and address for the record. Ms. Smith, please remember you have 3 minutes.
I have a problem, just like Ms. Abear. I live at 237 Buford Street. I also have a drainage ditch that comes through my property in the back of Greenville Street. I own the whole block from Buford Street all the way over. So I didn't have a problem until they put the new houses up in Greenville on the project, the new, the new houses they put on Greenville Street. The water coming from all the way to the front eroding my property. I have a fence there. The parish had 5 feet. The tractor had to come through. Tractor can't get on my property anymore. The whole ditch is caving in. Same thing Ms. Abear had. I wanted to find out, is the solution to stop that erosion? Because that's the main, from the water from the front. I live in the back of the, on the back on 40 Osprey Canal. So it has to come through to go to the canal. So that's the biggest part right there. Once that water comes through there, all of it caving in. I have a wooden fence and it's tumbling. So that's what I'm trying to get. See, how can we get that solution fixed, addressed? I don't want to have to take it to court either, because I own that block. I own that. Y'all have the right of way to get through that. You know, they're not even maintaining them. This is what it look like now. Grass in the ditch. I maintain that. Sometimes I get the weed eater to go out there and cut it, but I can't do that all the time. I'm disabled. So I have a special needs son that I have to watch. But you know, when you have to keep your area clean. And that's what I'm here. Also, I want to tell you about the dumping. Since the new house has been put up on Greenville Street, they got no dumping sign. Now the people in the front bring dump, they come and dump sofas in the back of my area, from my house, making another problem. That's another problem back there. You know, I need no dumping sign right there from my house. So when I see someone dump in that area, I can call a policeman. Because right now, if I call a policeman right now, there's no sign that says no dumping. So, you know, I don't have no legal recourse for that. But I'm asking Mr. Corey, I don't see Mr. Corey here now.
Right here. I remember that request.
Okay, Mr. Corey, I didn't
Yes.
see you. You talked to my sister, but you didn't come back and address. You know, I don't see a sign to be seen up there.
Yeah, I need to follow up with that, because I definitely remember putting that request into the administration.
Okay, now they dumping in front of y'all right away. That right away, the sofa, they putting sofas on your right away. So if you put a sign right in the right away, they can't dump. I've been there and tried to stop people, and they look at me like, you better get out of my face. And I'm not gonna go there.
No, you can't confront them like that.
I can't confront them like that. But I'm asking you to try to look at that situation, putting a no dumping sign in my property, not on my property, but on that street, right? I own the whole block. So right there on that Buford Street, to try to get that situation
I
stopped.
apologize. I thought that was resolved like a year ago.
No.
So we'll definitely follow up on it.
And so what about the erosion part? That, you know, the tractor can't come back. He can't come on the property to cut the right of way anymore. If he come on there, the tractor gonna cave in. He will fall in that ditch. And that's what I'm saying. When I moved back there about 23 years ago, the ditch was like this big. Now it's about 8 feet of erosion all the way over to 8 feet. So
Okay.
he keep on encroaching in my property. So he's gonna keep on erosion, keep on erosion. So that's what I'm trying to stop. Miss Abear came in and she She hit it right on point. You know, I thought I was the only one coming in here talking about erosion today, but it's right on point. We need to stop this now. The parish needs to find a solution. Either put some corvet in the ditch back there in Greenville Street, sort of stop. You know, I don't know what you're gonna do, but just try to do something to start. You know, to fix the problem.
Go take a look tomorrow, Mr. Barnes.
Yes, ma'am. My assistant will get your name and number, Miss Marie.
Okay.
She's right there.
Thank you.
She'll get your name and number, and I'll be in contact with you.
Okay.
And see what we can do.
Yeah, I didn't know. You know, I didn't want to come here because I kept trying to do it on my own, and I said, no, you can't do that. You got to go before the council and get that done. And so I'm glad I did come because I found I have other people just like me trying to get the same thing started. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
That's it? Okay.
Mr. Dick Mathern, if you'd approach the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Mathern.
Sure,
Please
Nicholas
remember you have
Mathern.
3 minutes.
Sure. Nicholas Mathern, 293 First Street, Racine, Louisiana, 70394. Here tonight in my consultant hat, not as a resident, although also as a resident. We are still working and progressing on the LA Safe program that CB&I is working with the State Office of Community Development on, and that's the Louisiana Strategic Adaptations for Future Environments program that they are pursuing resiliency plans for 6 parishes in a pilot program through a grant from HUD. We are progressing well with our development of the plan. We had our first parish-wide meeting here in April. We had a good turnout, great responses, and we've been sifting through that information, preparing for our more scaled-down community meetings. And that's why I'm here tonight, to update you all and to sort of announce to the public our upcoming meetings. On Tuesday, May 30th, we're going to have a meeting in La Rose at St. Peter's Church, specifically for our Vietnamese and Cambodian residents of the parish. And we will have translators there fluent in those languages, able to assist those residents. On Wednesday, May 31st, we'll have a meeting for the South Lafourche community, and that'll be at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Galliano. All these meetings start at 6 p.m. also. On Thursday, June 1st, we'll be in the Central Lafourche area at the Lockport Fire Station. Thank you, Mr. Otan, for helping us out with that. And on Monday, June 5th, we'll be in the Thibodaux, Northern Lafourche area at St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Church. And again, all these meetings start at 6 p.m. These meetings are to help shape, again, a resiliency plan to get us through the next 50 years above and beyond what the CPRA is planning on doing in terms of levee work and coastal restoration. This is more for our residents and our communities. How do we make a more stable and resilient community system, improve our quality of life, look at economic issues, and try to better ourselves in that next line of defense after just hurricane protection, to make sure Lafourche is a great place to live for 50 years and beyond. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to take those. If not, thank you all for your time, and we hope to see you at our community meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we have 5 minutes until we have to go ahead and do the public hearing on millages, so we're going to take a 5-minute recess. All right, we're going to move along to Section I at 6 p.m. 2017 millages, public hearing and public meeting at 6 p.m. Motion by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It's opened. 702. Number 6, discuss levying rolling forward 2017 millage rates for the following: criminal tax, drainage, health, and library, general alimony, recreation district number 11, road district number 1, special service district number 1. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Yeah, it was, okay, yeah, motion by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otan to close the public hearing and public meeting for 2017 millages. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Section J, public hearing and public meeting and ordinances for ratification. A voice roll call must be taken on each ordinance. On the final signed copy of each ordinance, each council member's name shall be noted as to which way they voted next to yeas, nays, abstained, or absent. Can we get a motion to open on that one? Moved by who? Mr. Groh, second by Mrs. Esposito. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, item number 7. Ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the Lafourche Parish, criminal tax, rolling forward. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? From the public, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? I have a question. This rolling forward, is this to extend it, or is this to increase it?
It increases this one from .68 to .77 mils.
Yeah, I can't vote to increase no tax. Any other discussion, Mr. Orman?
Yeah, Tommy, can you explain, a vote against this, they will still continue to collect their millage, it just won't be at the roll forward quantity, is that correct?
And if this gets turned down, item 25, I say would have to be approved, but you could turn that one down too, I guess, but it would go back to the same rate.
Okay, so if we, okay.
All of these that are rolling forward, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, have the opportunity to leave them at the same rate.
Mr. Lorraine, you have something?
Yes, I don't usually vote on rolling forward millages, but the only reason why I'm considering doing this is because if you look at your road royalty, this year, road royalty, if you collect 1.5 million, you're gonna be lucky. I don't think you're gonna get there. Last year, we had a little, right at that, I believe, 1.6. And the 2-3 other years prior to that, we had 5-6 million. And road royalty, you can use those funds anywhere you want to. So you're looking at losing about $4 million that you're not going to get. This year, at the time we are now, they had anticipated the oil field to pick up. And I think it probably got worse. So it's just a way of looking at trying to generate some revenue, because down the road, you ain't gonna be able to operate like projects. You can forget that. Road royalty was used a lot on a lot of projects, but that's gonna be a thing of the past for maybe a couple of years, I guess. So that's the way I'm explaining it. That's the reason why I'm looking at asking for a few more dollars. I got a daughter that pays $10,000 a year of property taxes. Not just Mr. LaFont, of course he's not here, but my own daughter pays that. And I just thought it would be something to look at.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Carleen?
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grove? Ms. Esposito? Mr. Perilou?
Nay.
Mr. Melvin?
Nay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah.
And 2 absent, Mr. Bourgeois and Mr. Lafont.
All right, number 8.
It fails, Mr. Perilou.
It failed 1-6-2, right?
That is correct.
Number 8, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Drainage, Health, and Library. Rolling forward, moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, any discussion from the council? Being none, can we get a roll call vote, ma'am?
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Esposito. Mr. Paraloo.
Nay.
Mr. Melvin.
Nay.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine,
Fails 1-6-2.
with 2 absent, meaning Mr. Bourgeois and Mr. Lafont.
Moving on to number 9, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for the 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, general alimony rolling forward. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Grow. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, discussion from the council. Being none, can we get a roll call vote?
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Esposito. Mr. Paraloo.
Nay.
Mr. Melvin.
Nay.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah.
And 2 absent, Mr. Bourgeois and Mr. Lafont.
Fails 1-6-2. Number 10, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Recreation District Number 11, rolling forward. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion from the public? 1 time. Step right up, please. State your name and address for the record.
Lloyd Olin, 2737 Bayou Blue Road, Director of the Bayou Blue Recreation. Last year, we got the paperwork the day before it was needed to be turned in to not keep our millage, so we were rolled back, in my opinion, intentionally. This year, we need to roll back forward. We approximately get, this year we got $107,000 to run a 45-acre facility. This will put me back to $127,000. So I mean, we're not talking about $50,000, $60,000, but we need this for this recreation. And that's really all I got to say. So.
How many more years do you have on the millage for your district?
2.
So what if that would go away tomorrow? I mean, how would you operate?
That's going to be up to y'all to make sure y'all put more money in the budget for recreation as a whole millage instead of the 0.5 you have now. If not, you're not going to operate any of your recreations.
Right, because some certain districts have already lost their local millages. Correct. And they're being
right. So, you know, I mean, personally, I think, and this is just my opinion, when the consolidation happened, that as a council, y'all should have went to the public. Y'all should have raised the millage across the board and dissolved us all at one time and put enough money in the budget to operate your 6 or 7 recreations across the parish properly, and then dissolve the millages. Unfortunately, that didn't happen that way.
So last year, your millage was rolled back?
Rolled back.
So you're saying if we roll this one forward, it'll put you back even?
Where we were, correct, yes, sir.
Okay, any question, Mr. Grove?
That was my question. So you were rolled back to 3.63 and you were 4.52 over 4. So you just actually
Yes,
go
sir.
back to where it was?
Correct, yes, sir.
And I guess my next question is with the Consolidated Recreation Board, it's only advisory board, it's my understanding they're supposed to pool this money together and for next year decide how it's distributed. Do you read that differently?
Not the millage.
Not, no, but any monies, yeah, I guess the money stays in the millage, yeah, in the
Right.
areas.
The local millage
Yeah,
just stays with the
yeah.
local rec district, right?
For 2 years.
That's the only ones that
and
stay
then-
with checkbooks.
Right, and then it'll go.
Mr. Lorraine, you have something?
No, I'm good, man.
All right, no more questions for you, thank you.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Any other from the public? 2 times, 3 times. Any further discussion from the council? If not, can we get a roll call vote?
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Esposito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine.
Yes.
Passes
2, 3,
6,
4, 5, 6.
1, 2.
That's correct.
You got your attacks, Mr. Lorraine. All right, number 11, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Road District Number 1, rolling forward. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Grove. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. Being none from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Nay.
Mr. Melvin.
Nay.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine. Fails. 162. The 2 absent being Mr. Bourgeois and Mr. Lafont.
Yes, ma'am. Number 12, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Special Service District Number 1, rolling forward. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Grove. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, any comments from the council? Mr. Otam.
Just a quick question. Special Service District Number 1 exactly is what?
That's in Ward 10 for special kids.
Is that
That's the by the cutoff school behind the center.
Gotcha.
That's for special needs.
So it's a good program.
Sure, I mean, do what y'all want.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to let y'all know ahead of time that I have to abstain. My son attends the center there.
Okay. Ms. Posito, can you give us a little more feedback about this millage in particular, roll forward? I mean, what's your experience with it, or what do you know?
Well, my experience with it is, I mean, he goes to cutoff every day. We drive to the bus stop in Raceland by the old Mexican place. There was that Tex-Mex Nacos on 90. Okay. And then we have someone picking him up every afternoon. The facility was just run so well because this money pays for it. When you go visit facilities that don't have the millage like this, it's not a pretty picture. So it was the best place for my son. I wish all of them were run as well. And it's just, you'd have to go visit it. And maybe one it isn't funded by a millage, because it's a big difference.
Mr. Grove.
Years ago, I did business with this group, and one of the groups is constantly being cut by the state. And I think they used to have some operations of people working in Thibodeau and going back and forth, and they had to cut it and consolidate it to just to the center over there. So I'm in favor of this.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I understand it's it touches people's lives personally, but it's still a tax rolling forward. That's my only discerning thought about it. Go ahead.
Do you feel it should roll forward, stay the same, or, I mean,
They won't lose anything, right? We're just voting on increasing people's taxes to give them more money.
Keeping it the same or rolling forward? I mean, yeah.
I think any more that I say, I'm too personal. It's too personal for me,
yeah,
so I don't think it'd be appropriate.
All right. Mr. Otan.
Yeah, I do want to point out too that if you look at the quantity of what the millage roll forward is, it's already a very, very low millage at 1.62, and so they're only looking at 1.8. It's very, very low millage. I just want to point that, because I mean, I'm in favor of it, and I think it's a very, very small amount as opposed to some of these other ones that were, 25%, 30%.
All right, thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate it. All right, any other discussion? Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Grove, Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
Mr. Grove. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yes.
Mr. Melvin.
Yes.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine.
Yes.
Passes 6.
6 yeas, 0 nays, 2 absent, and 1 abstention.
Abstain. All right, can we get a motion to close the public hearing? So moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That section is done. All right, Section K, 2017 millages, public hearing and public meeting at 6 p.m. Motion by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It is hereby opened. Item number 13, discuss levying the same 2017 millages rates as the prior year for the following services: Council on Aging, Drainage District parish-wide, Fire Protection District 9, Fire Protection District 1, Fire Protection District 7, Health Unit, Public Building, Recreation District number 2, Recreation District number 8, Recreational Facilities, Veterans Memorial District, Ward 10, Criminal Tax, Drainage, Health and Library, General Alimony, Recreation District number 11, Road District number 1, and Special Service District number 1. Now that we've read that, can we get a motion to close the public hearing for that portion? Moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Sposito. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Section L, public hearing and public meeting and ordinances for ratification. A voice roll call. Vote must be taken on each ordinance. On the final signed copy of each ordinance, each council member's name shall be noted as to which way voted next to yeas, nays, abstained, or absent. Can we get a motion to open?
Move to open.
Moved by Mr. Gross, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702.
I have a quick question. On 28 and 29, since we just approved those as a roll forward, we're going to just...
28 and 30.
28 and 30, yeah. We'll just pull those, I guess. Just
Right.
make sure you make note of that.
I got it.
All right. First one is number 14, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche. Council on Aging. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Grove. Any discussion from the public? One time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none from the council. Being none, can we get a roll call vote?
Mr. Jones? Yes. Mr. Grove? Ms. Sposito? Yay. Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Yay. Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 15, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche. Drainage District parish-wide. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Grove. Any comments from the audience? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none from the council. Being none, can we get a roll call vote?
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grove? Ms. Sposito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 16, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Fire Protection District number 9. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Otam. Any comments from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none from the council. Being none. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grove? Ms. Sposito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? And Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 17, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Fire Protection District 1. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Jones. Any comments from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none. Comments from the council? Being none. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grove? Ms. Sposito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 18, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Fire Protection District number 7. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion from the audience? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 19, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Health Unit, moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none, roll call vote.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 20, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Public Building. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Ms. Posito. Any comment from the audience, from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none, roll call vote.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 21, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Recreation District Number 2. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none, roll call vote.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 22, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Recreation District Number 8. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Oldtown. Any comments from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council, being none. Roll call.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 23, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, recreational facilities, moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council? Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 24, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Veterans Memorial District, Ward 10. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council? Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 25, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, criminal tax, moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Oldtown. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Ms. Posito. Mr. Paraloo.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine.
Passes 702. Number 26, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, drainage, health, and library. Mr. Lorraine moves on it. Second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion from the public? One time, 2 times, 3 times? Being none, from the council. Being none, roll call.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grow? Ms. Posito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 27, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for the 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, general alimony. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Who wants to second the alimony tax? Mr. Jones. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grow? Ms. Posito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. So number 28 is being pulled. Is that correct? Number 29, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, Road District Number 1. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grow? Ms. Posito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702, and we're pulling number 30. Can we get a motion to close public by Mr. Grow, second by Mrs. Posito? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Section M, 2017 millages, public hearing and public meeting at 6 p.m. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It is hereby open. Item number 31, discuss levying the renewed 2017 millage rates for the following: fire protection, District Number 4, library and library. To close this portion of the hearing, can we get a motion? Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Melvin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Section N, public hearing and public meeting and ordinances for ratification. A voice roll call vote must be taken on each ordinance. On the final signed copy of each ordinance, each council member's name shall be noted as to which way voted next to yeas, nays, abstained, or absent. Can we get a motion to open? Mrs. Posito, second by Mr. Otan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It is hereby opened. Item number 32, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 4. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, from the council. Being none, can we get a roll call vote?
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grow? Ms. Posito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 33, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, library. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Jones. Any comment from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grow? Ms. Posito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Number 34, ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2017 on all the property subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche, library. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Jones. Any comment from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, from the council. Being none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Grow? Ms. Posito? Mr. Paraloo?
Yay.
Mr. Melvin?
Yay.
Mr. Otan? Mr. Lorraine?
Passes 702. Can we get a motion to close public meeting? Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Posito. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702 is hereby closed. Section O, which puts us back on track to like a regular meeting agenda. Ordinances and discussion and ratification. Number 35, ordinance prohibiting the use of the Lafourche Parish logo from businesses or organizations who are not sponsored by or who have not entered into an agreement to use such logo. Can somebody move? Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. There's an amendment to it. There's some verbiage that was changed. Can somebody move on the amendment? Mr. Melvin, second. Mr. Oldtown. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The amendment reads as such: proposed ordinance prohibiting the use of Lafourche Parish logo or any other official identifying marks of the Lafourche Parish government from businesses or organizations who are not sponsored by or who have not entered in an agreement to use such logo as established by resolution of the Lafourche Parish Council. Penalties for unauthorized use shall be in accordance with the Lafourche Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, Section 1-21. Any discussion from the public on this? One time, two times, three times, being none. From the council, Mr. Grove.
We have a lot of offenders of this. Do we know, or are we just trying to set some
It's just a precedent. It's been brought to my attention that there's like private companies that make money on their goods and they're claiming they're sponsored by the parish or the government, you know. So it's just one of those situations to, I guess, to protect the sanctity of the official logo. Any other discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, now we need to vote on it as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2. Okay, so that was section O. Moving on, section P, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. Moved by, to open.
I'll move.
Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Oldtown. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0-2, hereby
Chairman,
open. Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to pull item 36.
You want to pull it?
Pull it.
Totally. Okay, so declared. Item number 37, ordinance authorizing Lafourche Parish government to purchase the properties located at 106 Mercer Road and Delta Farm Road, boat launch in LaRose from Geneva Marie Guidry Mercer in the total amount of $310,000 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer a purchase agreement, act of sale, and any and all relevant documents necessary to acquire said property. Mr. Lafont is not here. Does someone want to move on this for him?
I think he wanted to discuss this with the levy district. Whether he did or not, I don't know. So I would be a little cautious.
Does someone want to defer it for him until the next meeting?
Yeah.
Can someone move on that to defer it? Moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Oldtown. So deferred.
We're just waiting on an agreement because the levy district has.
Number 38, ordinance to accept the subdivision known as Highland Oaks Phase 2 into the parish system. Moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? I have a question. When we have ordinances like this accepting a subdivision, it's clearly Phase 2 of an existing subdivision. Are we making certain that we don't run into the same issues from, like, I think it was Mr. Jones' district that Abbey Lakes it is, that the addition ended up like causing problems, flooding the original settlement. Mr. Jones, you want to?
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about, Abbey Lakes and Abbey Heights was draining on, Abbey Heights was draining on Abbey Lakes.
Exactly. So, I mean, do we have permitting policies in place that they have to go through a rigorous process to make sure that these things aren't happening again,
Yeah.
Mr. Barnes?
Yes, and we checking, on the drainage to make sure they're not impeding on anybody else and causing the parish to have to, bear the burden of the cost. If
Okay.
something happens, but we doing much better.
Okay, yeah, because every time I see something like this about a new settlement, like a new subdivision or something, I worry that, the I's are not dotted and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure we're on top of that. All right, appreciate it. Any other comments on this? Mr. Grove?
You said you're checking. This one's checked already.
Yes,
All
this
right.
is done, this is
I know
done.
Ms. Pat's not here. All right.
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 39, ordinance approving a lease agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the Vacherie Gaines Community Center to utilize the community center for recreational purposes, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said lease agreement and any and all relevant documents. Can someone move for me? Moved by Mr. Otown, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 40, ordinance amending ordinance number 5.
I'd like to defer that till the next meeting.
Defer number 40? June 13th. Number 41, ordinance approving a lease agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Upper 10 LLC to utilize property for recreational purposes and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said lease agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otown, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 42, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-009 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to correct the carry-forward balance from 2016 projects and to adjust specific projects, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by. Anybody want to second this one? Mrs. Esposito. And there's an amendment to it. Please see attached ordinance. Yeah, administration, do you have anything to add on this amendment? It says, please see attached ordinance. Yeah, there's a lot of attachments in here.
What's in your packet is the ordinance. It's not an amendment.
Well, what's the amendment about?
You got the whole packet with you? Let me look at Mr.
On number 42.
I'm gonna look at Mr. Barnes' thing, 42.
Oh, I see what it is. It's something to do with the Leeville boat launch.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to defer this till the finance guy be here to explain.
Okay. Mr. Lorraine, you moved on this, and who seconded this? Mr. Esposito, do y'all want to pull that and defer it so we can get some
What it
answers?
says is it is necessary to include all the remaining projects within the 216 operating and maintenance budget carry forward to 217. There's a mixture of all kind of projects. It's not just the Leeville boat launch, sir.
No, I'm talking about the amendment.
Oh, but that's what the amendment says.
The amendment says to carry forward fishing pier at Leeville boat launch, a decrease in capital outlay in the amount of $58,667 and a decrease in other revenue in the amount of $58,667. So we're decreasing it from the Leeville boat launch. Where's it going?
All you're doing is carrying forward from last year to this year. This is, you're just closing out the account from last year to this year. That's all. It's not moving anything anywhere.
Okay, so we're decreasing that amount because it wasn't necessary
But it's gonna be this
for
year.
completion.
It didn't close out in the books from last year.
Is everybody happy with that explanation?
It's just
No.
closing out 2016. This is closing out the 2016 capital budget items.
Mr. Chairman, again, I'd like to defer this till the finance director is here to explain it.
Okay. Do y'all want to pull your motion and second to defer?
I'm gonna pull it, yeah,
You
I'll
will?
pull it.
Okay.
It
So
ain't going
pulled.
nowhere.
June 13th? Deferred June 13th. That was what, number?
42.
How did I get? All right, number 43, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-10 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to correct funding of water park at Bayou Blue Recreation 14012 since the consolidation of recreation districts by Lafourche Parish government, and to add additional funding to cover the expenses from Recreation District 11, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Mr. Bourgeois is not here. Does someone want to move for him?
I'll move.
You move. Mr. Lorraine, move. Can we get a second? Second by Mr. Grove. Any discussion? Someone, Lloyd Olden wanted to comment on this one as well?
I don't know if I need to comment on this one or if I need to comment on 69, so I guess I'll talk now.
All right, name and address for the record.
Lloyd Olin, 2737 Bayou Blue Road, Home, Louisiana. Okay. Carrying over approximately, and don't quote me on these numbers because I don't have them, $200 and something thousand that was carried over from multiple years of building up an account to do certain projects. When the water project came up, we tried to do it and ended up running into a lot of resistance that it wasn't being done, I guess, not say by code, but using architects and the whole 9 yards. So it got pulled from me as a director and got brought to the parish, and the parish had to kind of took over the project. Project that would have cost us, which I found out later, that about $200,000, $220,000, which was appropriated by y'all for the project, for a complete project, is now at $372,000 or something like that. Anyway, the money to complete the project is now, and I think it's here, or it might be 69, is now coming from the carryover money that was in the recreation, okay? Not to say we shouldn't use it for that. We have a summer program that's unique in this than any other summer program. And just to give you a little, the last day of school is Friday, we start Monday, and the first day of school for the following year is on the Monday. We end our program on Friday. We open up at 6 o'clock in the morning for you to drop off your child. You can pick them up at 6 o'clock at night. Okay? This cost me about $100,000 in salaries for 150 kids. This year we have 87%, because I'm on Terrebonne Lafourche, Lafourche Parish children in here. Taking this much of my rollover money to complete this project is going to put us possibly in the red. I was hoping that because this project went from what we thought it was going to be to this big project, that the council would kick in something to help finish this project that needs to be done. I've been working on this for 5 years, okay? 2 years getting it to a point to say, you can't do it, we got to take over and do it, and now we're 3 years later, we're finally at the point of signing the documents, which we have, hopefully, that we sign. But I just want the council to know that, and I don't know if this is the correct spot to say this, that taking the whole 175 to complete this project, which isn't completing the project because we're getting a grace for 1 year from the Board of Health, because we still have to build bathrooms and changing areas in that part of the facility, because we're over 300 feet away from where we're building the water park compared to our building. So Mr. James is going to have to come to y'all and say, next year for the Bayou Blue Recreation, for the splash park to finish it, we need another $300,000. So, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. That's what it takes for this complete project. The complete project that I had proposed 2 years ago, which is the exact same pictures, same design, the whole 9 yards, with bathrooms, was $270-something thousand. But because I'm not an architect and I was gonna call you to do the concrete and you to do the splash park and you to do the fence. Apparently, that's not the right way to do it. So it costs us now $500,000. So I don't know if that's where this belongs, but just to give you some on there. So, and I know Mr. Kentrell is 100% behind building this. I'm 100% behind getting this built. We need to get it built, no matter where the money comes from.
Bo already bought a Speedo to go splash around over there.
Hey, I'm ready for you. So, you know, just hopefully we have enough to make it to the end. So, thank y'all for y'all time. I appreciate it. Any questions?
All right, any other comment from the public? One time, two times, three times, being none. From the council? Being none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 44, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-011 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to cover a contract between Lafourche Parish Government and Picciola and Associates, Inc., approved by resolution number 17-020 for engineering services for the project road improvements RSTD2 4L, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none. From the council? Being none. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lorraine moved on it. Second? Anybody? Nobody wants to second it? Mr. Grow? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Get a motion to close public hearing. Moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Hereby closed. Mrs. Esposito.
Number 45, proposed ordinance to reduce the speed limit from 25 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour on all motor vehicles traveling on all streets in Sugar Plantation Subdivision, Ward 1, District 3, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, requiring the placement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violation thereof. Mr. Grow. Number 46, proposed ordinance establishing a three-way stop at the corner of North Lake Drive and Abbey Lake Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 5, District 3, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary three-way stop signs and providing penalties for the violation thereof. Mr. Councilman Grow. Number 47, proposed ordinance establishing a three-way stop on Grand Lakes Drive and East Lakeshore Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 5, District 3, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the three-way stop signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Councilman Grow. Number 48, proposed ordinance establishing a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit on Bentley, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit and watch for children signs and providing penalties for the violation thereof. Can someone move for me?
Move.
Councilman Grow. Number 49, proposed ordinance to install additional 15 miles per hour speed limit and caution children at play signs on LaRousse Lane, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 6, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit and caution children at play signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Could someone move for me? Councilman Grow. Number 50, proposed ordinance approving the attached servitude agreement between Craig J. Keys, Mary Joseph Kern Keys, and the Lafourche Parish Council, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement. Councilman Melvin for the administration. Number 51, proposed ordinance. Oh. Someone want to move for?
I'll move on it.
Moved by Grow for Mr. Melvin. Number 51, proposed ordinance approving an act of donation between Lafourche Parish Government and Crimson Gulf LLC for the donation of one 2013 Landis 16-foot mash trailer with outrigger, VIN number 1M9BU1629D9631847, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents.
He's out of the room as well, Ms. Esposito.
I'll move on it, Paul.
We have a quorum still?
We do not.
3, 4, 5. If Mr. Grow doesn't come back and sit, you know.
Mr. Grow, you still in the meeting?
You need to.
We need you for a quorum, bud.
Councilman Otan for the administration. Number 52, proposed ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-012 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget to increase the coastal zone management budget by $200,000 for the Barataria Marsh Creation and Ridge Restoration Project, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Councilman Lorraine for administration. 53, proposed ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriations 17-013 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget to deobligate the completed project building and maintenance security project 14036 to carry forward the grant funds from 2016 for the Alydar Water Project, and then deobligate the completed Alydar Water Project 10007, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement, said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 54, proposed ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-014 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget to adjust the budget to cover the CDBG Thibodeau Government Complex Project amendment numbers 3, 4, and 5, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Councilman Lorraine for the administration. 55, proposed ordinance providing for 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-015 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to increase the budget for the Safe Route Project 13038 awarded to Lafourche Parish Government from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in amount of $97,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Councilman Lorraine for the administration. 56, proposed ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-016 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget to increase the budget to cover an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the City of Thibodeau under resolution number 07196, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Councilman Grove for the administration.
Thank you, Ms. Esposito. Section R, a motion. We have number 57, a motion to accept the minutes of the May 17, 2017 Registrar of Voters Interview Committee meeting. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Ms. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Moving to section S, appointment of Registrar of Voters. Shouldn't I read this before doing the motion? No. It is to present the Registrar of Voters Interview Committee's top 3 applicants to the council for the position of Registrar of Voters. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Ms. Esposito. Okay, so who's going to give the top 3 candidates? No one did it.
I can.
Yeah, that's what this motion is for.
The top 3 candidates were Mr. Michael Boudreau, Ms. Tammy Wendeshafer, and Ms. Gretchen Caillouet.
Okay. So that's moved by Mr. Melvin and seconded by Mrs. Esposito. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702, top 3 candidates. Moving to number 58. So the way, from what I understand, the way this is going to work is there's 3 candidates, and the council can make a motion to appoint a candidate, and if that candidate receives 5 votes, then it's over. Am I correct in that assumption?
As far as our understanding, that's, yeah. The candidate.
So there's
received
3
the most
candidates, and someone is nominated, and that first nomination gets 5 votes. Do we consider the other 2? At that point, the first candidate with 5 or more votes wins the job.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so number 58, resolution to appoint the Lafourche Parish Registrar of Voters. Moved by Mr. Melvin, and second by, your lights on, Ms. Esposito? So you're gonna second Mr. Jones? So you have an appointment? You're sponsoring it, okay. So, all right, we'll open the nominations. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So be ordered. Mrs. Esposito, your light is on.
Yes, I'd like to propose nomination.
You want to make a nomination?
I'd like to make a nomination, Mr. Michael Boudreau.
All right. Yeah, let's light him up on this since it's an important vote, please. Mr. Gross seconds Mr. Michael Boudreau. You gonna light him up for us? Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote then on Mr. Michael Boudreau. Mrs. Babin?
Mr. Jones. Mr. Grow. Esposito. Mr. Perilou.
Yay.
Mr. Melvin.
Yay.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lorraine.
All right, Mr. Michael Boudreau passes 6-1-2. You're the new Register of Voters for Lafourche Parish, sir. Congratulations. Did you want to address the council and the administration?
I just want to thank this council for appointing me the new Register of Voters of Lafourche Parish. And with my knowledge and my ideas and my experience in the elections department, I feel we can bring this parish forward as far as precincts and taking care of the elderly and the young people and get them interested in voting. I appreciate y'all time. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boudreau. Congratulations. All right, moving to Section T, resolutions. Number 59, resolution approving the purchase of one John Deere 6155M cab tractor for the Lockport Field Office as needed to cut grass, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Grove. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Number 60, resolution approving the purchase of one Tiger 30-foot Sabre hydraulic rotary boom mower for the Lockport Field Office as needed to cut grass, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, passes 702. Number 61, resolution requesting the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, LADOTD. I'm sorry, I moved on without calling to a vote.
No, sir.
Number 60,
That is correct.
it was moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Jones. I said all in favor?
It passes 7-0.
All in favor? Come on, y'all need to pep it up a little bit. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 61, resolution requesting the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, LADOTD, to check out LA Detailing 17511 West Main Street, Galliano, Louisiana, south of 143rd Street on the bayou side of LA1 due to water staying on the highway and not draining. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Grove. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 62, resolution reappointing one commissioner to represent the Lafourche Parish School Board on the Lafourche Parish Children and Youth Planning Board. Mr. Lorraine.
There was only one applicant, Mr. Ray Bernard.
Can we get a second on Mr. Bernard? Mr. Otan seconds. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702. Number 63, resolution reappointing one commissioner to represent the Office of Indigent Defender on the Lafourche Parish Children and Youth Planning Board. Moved by Mr. Grow.
Miss Andrea Stentz.
Can we get a second on Mrs. Stentz? Ms. Esposito, any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 64, resolution approving amendment number 1 to Basic Services Work Task Order number 5 for the project entitled West Side Drainage Improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Y'all gonna have to speak up a little bit. Number 65, resolution in support of a 2017 PetSmart Charity Shelter Operations Grant Application for Animal Shelter Medical Building at the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Grow. Second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 66, resolution approving the multi-agency emergency mutual aid and assistance agreement with the parishes of Jefferson, Orleans, City of New Orleans, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. John the Baptist, St. Tammany, Calcasieu, Cameron, Vermilion, St. Martin, Iberia, St. Mary, Ascension, St. James, Terrebonne, Assumption, Livingston, and Tangipahoa, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Does someone want to move from Mr. Bourgeois? Moved by Mr. Otan. Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 67, resolution approving a contract with Premier Catering and Events, PCE, to provide all catering services and optional dining facilities necessary to support emergency operations for employees at the location sites provided by the Lafourche Parish Department of Homeland Security, Emergency Preparedness, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otan. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion?
I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Grow.
I'm going to abstain on the next two. A division of my company does business with that company.
Okay. Any other comments? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0-2-1. Mr. Grove abstains. 6, I'm sorry, sir. 6-0-2-1. Number 68, resolution approving a contract with Premier Catering and Events, PCE, to provide as-needed catering services as a backup to Red Cross for feeding evacuees that are transported to or housed in shelters in the event of an emergency at the location sites provided by the Lafourche Parish Department of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otan. Second by Ms. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 6-0-2-1. Yes, ma'am. Number 69, resolution accepting a low bid of Byron E. Talbot Contractor, Inc. in the amount of $365,725 for the Splash Park project, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Someone want to move for Mr. Bourgeois? You'll move? Second? You'll second, Mr. Grow? Discussion, Mr. Melvin.
Yes, I'm all for splash parks for kids. I know that I'd rather have the kids at a splash park than doing some other nefarious deals that could happen. But I know that we just heard about some more money that's going to be spent on this project, and believe me, I'm all for the kids. It's just that I know Lafayette Parish didn't officially declare a bankruptcy, but their auditor did tell them that they're extremely low on funds and they're going to have to start cutting services. And that's just an example of the times we're in right now with these low oil prices. And I believe everybody wants a splash park or a skate park or a pier, and I'm all for it. It's just that I think we need to watch where we're spending these dollars in the future, because as we know, there's no end in sight. Things kind of hiccup a little bit, but that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Mr. Otan?
Yeah, I agree with Bo. It's a heck of a chunk of money, and I certainly hope that they have game plan on how they're going to maintain it. And we just heard the summer program is going to possibly run short, so hopefully there's some kind of way that can be accommodated. But my question is, on the I noticed that we're awarding the contract to someone who wasn't the lowest bidder, based on what the engineer recommended. Does anyone know why they're not going with the lowest bidder?
It is the low bidder with the option for the parking lot in it. Yeah.
Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, this park's been going on for quite a few years, and it's been piecemeal and piecemeal. In fact, I'll just give you a little example. They started this park when we started the basketball pavilion in Golden Meadow. The basketball pavilion is completed, the skateboard park is completed, and they're still trying to get it done. This should have been done 2 years ago, but it kept dragging on, dragging on, dragging on. And one thing you got to remember, Bo, I know you're concerned about the money, but there are certain taxes that can only be spent for certain things. You need to look at that real carefully. It's easy to say we don't have the money here, the money there. They have X amount of dollars in the fund, the same thing like road sales tax too. We always dig into that before we dig into parish-wide money, so that's the same thing. I mean, they have it, they need to get it, they deserve to have it. So I think, that's just my opinion. You're not hurting anything. And all these projects are gonna start off at 200,000, 250, and they ended up maybe a little more. And skateboard was supposed to be 200, finished at 340. So they're all gonna go up.
Mr. Bo?
Yes, sir, I appreciate that, and like I said, I'm all for the kids, and I'm going to vote for this project, but public perception, even though it's allocated money, we're going to spend it on a splash park. Okay, it's allocated, it's dedicated, but when somebody needs a levee or a pump or something, and it's public perception as well. So I'm just making sure that we're clear on that, and I'm for it. It's just,
Yeah, it's public. I mean, levies is levy money, drainage money. This is recreation money. You can't take the recreation money and go fix a levee. You can't.
All right, Ms. Lucy.
Okay, I apologize, I don't remember the gentleman's name that was up here a few minutes ago. But he did say that, so the 300 and, what is it, 365,000 is in the account right now, but he's already telling us that they're gonna run short on money by the end of the year. So if we approve this, we're also approving to do a supplemental later on, approve a supplemental to give them operation funds. Did I understand you correctly? You said after this is done, if you use all your money, you'll be in the red?
Maybe I
misunderstood.
The roll forward.
We're gonna need your name and address again for the record.
Lloyd Olin, 2737 Bayou Blue Road, Houma, Louisiana. We're gonna be extremely tight. Okay, the parish awarded us $225,000  4 years ago? 4 years ago for this project. Okay, and 4 years ago we could have built it for this amount. So our rollover money that we normally use to offset summer programs, other air conditions that break down, things like that, we're using 3/4 of it to finish funding this parish project, okay? When this was brought, this estimate or this bid came in at 365, I was hoping that my councilman would have came to the council and said, okay, we're 170 short from this project. Yes, they have 300,000 in their account, but because of this and this and this, can we allocate 50,000 more to this project for this year, and they'll put up $100,000.
So the fact that's not done, it's gonna hit us on the back end, I'm sure, right?
I hope not, because I'm gonna cut
Well, let me ask you
cut it down
this.
to the minimum, and we're gonna do what we need to do to provide for the kids of the community, but at the same time, there won't be any more fluff, if you want to call it.
Okay, let me ask
Yes,
you
ma'am.
this, and I know this is, when it's a four-year-old project, everyone wants to see it get built. Just imagine you own this park, and this was your money. Would you throw your whole wallet at this project? Do you think it is that good to know what you'll have to do without if you can't get another penny from this council? Would you throw your whole wallet at it?
Yes, because I know if you allow me to charge, because that I would.
You're gonna charge for the
I
water
said
park?
if you would allow me to charge for people to use it that don't live in Lafourche Parish, that it would more than pay for itself very quickly. In Morgan City, they built a park, and it's only a 60-kid park. They charge, parish or not, if you live there or you don't live there. It's just like the skating ring. You pay $10 to come in for 2 hours, and then you're kicked out, and the whole next group comes in, and the whole next group comes in, and that's how it works all day long. They have
So that's
increased-
proposed as to how you all are gonna operate?
No, my goal as a director is that anybody that lives in Lafourche Parish would be able to come to this for free. If you live in Terrebonne Parish across the street, that there would be a small fee for you to come use, which helps offset our water and our expenses for using the facility. And I think that's fair to the people of
So you have
Lafourche
to pay
Parish.
someone to stay at a gate, or it's gonna be gated in?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's all gonna be gated. It has to be gated, just for that.
Okay, so basically, we're gonna be looking down the road at trying to come up with some more funding.
To complete the project, yes, sir. The total project. Because we have to have bathrooms, we have to have a changing area, which with recreation dollars, which should be there in the future, we should be able to hopefully complete this project.
Okay, so you're gonna, I apologize if I'm not getting this straight. You're going to need more money on top of this money to complete the project, or no?
Not this phase of the project.
Okay, not this phase.
This phase of the project will be complete, and as soon as it's complete, we can open up and kids can start having fun.
Okay.
The Board of Health has given us a year or a 2-year, Mr. Tomlin, I don't remember exactly, 2-year variance that at that point we have to have a bathroom facility built and a changing facility. Because the building.
So we're gonna have to put that up no matter what? The bathroom?
Y'all
and
gonna
the-
have to
the
put it
changing
up, or I'm
facility?
gonna have to save it for my next 2 years out of the millage I get, and then when I don't get it, then I'm gonna have to do it. So the millage that I get now, that we've been saving, yes, if I continue operating like I have and save for the next 2 years, I can probably come up with half of the money, and y'all only have to come up with half of the money to complete this.
Do you have a cost on the next phase?
But we had,
I just didn't know if you costed it out, got estimates or no.
the old estimates, yes, ma'am, would have been about 75,000. But Hero Park, y'all spent 225,000 for a bathroom and a concession stand because it's brick. If you do it out of, so it depends on which way we have to engineer everything. That makes the cost go from something that could be used and last for 40 years, or we have to build it this certain way. So,
Mr. Grover?
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, obviously the 75,000 wouldn't have been to code,
it would have been
wishful
cold, but
thinking.
it would have been like a metal building structure,
Okay. So, and I know you don't have maybe notes on you, just give me some ballpark figures, like how much have we spent already? How much more are we gonna need to get this thing to fruition so the kids can have a water park?
At this point, we've only spent $8,000 in architect fees because Leonard Chaubert, not Leonard Chaubert, listen to me. Leonard Chauvin did the engineering fees at an extreme low cost because everything was, I handed him a book, everything was basically done. But it had to be engineered, it had to be standby electrician engineer, civil engineer, all the different engineers need to stamp everything.
So $8,000 plus $365.
That's all we've spent at this point. The next phase, if you looked at my old numbers, what it would have cost would have been about 75,000. What it's gonna cost, I have no idea what it's gonna cost. I can't tell you that. You're gonna have to appropriate me some money, or I'm gonna have to use some of my millage money next year to get an engineer to come out and, an architect to come draw it for us. And then I can come to y'all and say, this is what they said we need to build. I can't tell you that until.
I'm asking you maybe
Yes,
a
sir.
question. I understand it's all pipe dreams, I guess. But we do have, you were voted one of the two roll forwards tonight.
Right, and that's
Six,
gonna help us.
So that should help.
Yes, sir, that'll definitely help.
And we have the advisory board now. Tell me, there's a lot of different things that have come into play. I'm off athletics and kids programs, so, but I'm also want to be frugal up here too. So, we'll see.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, so you saying through the roll forward millage, how much money can you put toward this project next year? Not much, 20,000?
Yeah, 25,000
Yeah.
extra. And
So-
then, if y'all have ever been to my recreation, and seen how we do things and how I do things in Bayou Blue, and this is my board president behind me, or whatever we call him now, committee president, Mr. Albert Martin. I'm gonna give you an example. We wanted a playground, okay? The playground was $197,000 for a zip line in this playground thing. I bought the two pieces from the company for $33,000. Me and the volunteer fire department poured all the concrete, and we did it for $16,000, and then got the people to come in and put the rubber stuff, which cost us $40,000. So I did the whole thing for half, or less than half. But that's how I run the recreation, to save the people of my community money and get them what they need to do. That's what I was trying to do with the spray park, but of course, because it's over a certain amount, apparently you can't do it that way, which I learned my lesson.
What I'm saying,
so what I'm saying
you
is
gotta have a concrete, a price here. I don't want you to come next year or the next 2 years and say you need 400 more thousand to complete bathroom.
I
This
agree, yes,
project
sir.
started out at 150,000, I think it was.
220 was
And
appropriate.
then they added 75 more the next year, if I remember right.
The first allocation, what you're thinking about, was the drainage project, because the park was going underwater.
Right.
And that's when the money was added. The actual, just 200 and something thousand, started off like 10 years ago with a walking track, 50,000. And then I hadn't been there
Yeah,
as long as
we
this
spending a
money's been
lot of time on
allocated.
this. We're gonna have to move a little
Yeah,
forward
I
here.
mean,
You have something to add? Name and address.
Albert Martin, 116 Joshua Street, Homer, Louisiana. Next phase is the bathroom. The bathrooms will also be used for the ballpark. It'll be placed between the water park and the ballpark. Right now, we got polarettes for the ballpark, and we have to rent that monthly. So just want to let y'all know, when we go with the next phase for the bathrooms, it's gonna be due purpose. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Otan, you have something?
Yeah, I want to say, I appreciate all your efforts and what you're doing over there. I want you to realize how much of a nice facility you have in comparison to a lot of areas in our parish, however. At 45 acres, that's nice ballparks. But for instance, in Lockport, we have 1,000 people that's participating in recreation, and we have a tennis court and a concession stand. That's all we have. So I just think y'all, you need to understand how I'm appreciative of what you're doing out there, but at the same time, realize, I really dislike this first phase, second phase. To me, it's kind of backwards, because what happens now if we don't do the next phase, or if something pops up and now it's you can't build for whatever reason these bathrooms, does that shut that splash park down? Is that what would happen? Or, I'm really concerned about that. I don't like that fact. I stepped into a councilmatic role, and all of a sudden I see projects that are 2 phases. The first phase affects the second phase, and now we have problems because we can't get to the second phase. But yet we're being impacted because what was done in the first phase, and I can see this possibly going the same way. We don't have the funding in place now. We've been given a timeline where we have a window. So I would strongly encourage y'all to jump on getting that second phase going as quick as possible, because something can pop up and then we're back to square one, zero. But anyway, I just want y'all to understand, y'all have a really nice place. It's big, and a lot of the parish, in this parish, Lafourche, doesn't have that.
It has a lot of potential, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. We're gonna move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 70, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Forefront Emergency Management LP, formerly known as ES&H Consulting and Management Group, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 71, resolution accepting a low bid from Byron E. Talbot Contractor, Inc. in the amount of $1,173,702.50 for the construction of the west side drainage improvements and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Grow, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 72, resolution accepting a low quote from Roden Consulting, LLC, in the amount of $3,250 for services of an environmental consultant to provide a wetland delineation on property for the project entitled Lockport Community and Recreation Center, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 73, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and South Central Planning and Development Commission, SCP, DC, to implement Phase 1 of the Lafourche Parish-wide recreation analysis, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Someone want to move for Jerry LaFont? Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 74, resolution authorizing the hiring of Leonard Chauvin, PEPLS, Inc., as the engineer for services needed in the completion of an application under the FY 2018-2019 Louisiana Community Development Block Grant, LCDBG program, and for the design and construction inspection services pending grant award, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 702 passes. Number 75, resolution authorizing the hiring of Leonard Chauvin, PEPLS, Inc., as the engineer for services needed in the completion of an application under the FY 2018-2019 Louisiana Community Development Block Grant, LCDBG program, and for the design and construction inspection services pending grant award for the project entitled Reeder Street Waterline Repairs, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Number 76, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Parish Water District Number 1 for the purpose of designating responsibilities and the transfer of ownership of water improvements made to the water distribution system serving the community of Rita, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Section U, motion. Number 77, motion to appoint the Daily Common as the official journal for the Lafourche Parish Council for the period of July 1, 2017 through June 30, 2018 at the rate of $5.50 per square of 100 words. Someone want to move on this? Moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by? Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702. Section V, questions for the administration. Second session. Mr. Grove has a question.
Okay, the first one, just, because I've received some calls, and no offense, Mr. Lorraine, this has come up in the past. Lorraine's sponsoring stuff all over the parish. I didn't know if that, should be common courtesy, you'd call, if there's something in Alley-Door, you'd call the representative for that area, or, drainage program. It's just a question. It's come up. Is there any reason why?
I talk to Mr. Lorraine all the time, so if there's something on there, if it's something that I think matters, if somebody tells me you want everything in the district, we'll call you for everything. Yeah. But, if it's just something that like these CDBG grants.
Okay.
I try and find, if I can get to somebody. I called you sometimes,
Right.
and it's just,
Absolutely.
and Adam calls sometimes. He asked me, and I said, well, just call him. And then sometimes I say, well, just put this one on.
Yeah, I just wanted to be mentioned that it does cause some issues. I remember we had discussion about this 2 or 3 meetings ago with people wondering, you know.
It's more of a courtesy to know what's going on in the district.
That's it.
I would never do it for anything to keep anybody out of the loop. Let me put it like that.
The second thing, Mr. Lassane, you had sent an email today about, I know the finance director's not here. I don't know if you have that paperwork with you on the royalties. Bo had touched on a little bit about Lafayette's situation. I'd like for you to say, just for the record, you know, maybe just a synopsis of the last couple of years and where we are now versus last year at this point.
Well, from 4 or 5 years ago, when it was 2 years in a row, approximately $6 million, and then it went down to 4.5, about 3 years ago, then it went down. And last year, we were about 1.5, and it looks like that's about where we're gonna be this year. I don't see any reason for it to go up significantly outside of a war or something like that. So I think we're just stuck with that. That's the bad news. The good news is I think we can live within our means. We're trying to. There's just going to be probably less projects. We've had some fortunate projects. We have some money from that Gomez, some money that we're going to probably be able to bond for coastal erosion projects. That would be like levees and stuff like that. And that's going to be a significant amount of money. We're one of the largest receivers of money in the state. And we're talking with attorneys right now about maybe bonding that money. That'd be a decision y'all have to make. And could only be used for coastal erosion type projects. Now you'll be able to do some drainage and stuff like that, I'm sure, but it's not going to be. It's going to be more narrow. It's more restrictive as to what you can do. But that's going to be one thing. We got another grant coming up for another big project down by. But they require matching funds, so it's not like they're free.
Yeah. In 2014, I have it up. It was 5.7 million collected, and then last year it was 1.4. So it just shows you in 2 years what it can be.
The bad thing about it, like Mr. Rain was saying earlier, recreation, they get their millage, and when you have a reassessment year, which we just did, they get more money. So that money is dedicated to that, and you can't use it for anything else. So that's pretty fortunate. And so are other millages, and they go up a little bit. Royalty is discretionary to go. It can go anywhere, and that would be usually what we would use to supplement projects. I wrote several amendments. I wrote both the amendments for that Bayou Blue Water Park budget amendments to get the money in there, and several other amendments for all the council when I was the auditor. But now it's just going to be less of it. But a lot of areas are set. As y'all know, solid waste has a problem that's going to have to be addressed in this year's budget. But that's going to be, we're all in the same boat with it.
All right, Ms. Posito.
Mr. Lassane and Mr. Cantrell, I would like to be called for all the items that happen in my district. You're welcome to call me. Just, we need to open up the lines of communication with the council and administration. For something so small, there should have never, I mean, just as easy to call as Daniel or Bourgeois or Grow. I just would appreciate y'all making an effort to open up communication.
I'll call every time.
Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I'm open for any calls, but I wish some of y'all would have taken over some of the taxes. You know, and if they call me, that's fine. I mean, I'll sponsor whatever, but I think it should be from that general area, whoever it's for, that's fine. But I mean, I answer my phone, and believe it or not, I look at the emails, and I have no problem.
Mr. Chairman, one thing, Mr. Robichaud informed me he had spoke with Lisa. He had gotten a letter on item 37, and I don't know if y'all want to make a motion to reconsider or not. That's up to y'all. But he has the letter from the Port Commission granting us access, and he said he's talked with Lisa about it, so we do have that. And I think it would be helpful if y'all would make a motion to reconsider, because we have an agreement with the property owner to purchase it by June 9th. So that's just a suggestion.
Yeah, that's it. I'd prefer not visiting that again today, because it is Mr. Lafont's district, and I know that he was engaged in communications with the South Lafourche Levy District. So if it's all the same, we'll wait for him to get back on board and spearhead that. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, it's actually me that was in touch with the levy district, and I was communicating with Mr. Lafourche. I didn't realize he wasn't going to be here. We received a letter about a week ago, and I emailed it to Mr. Lafourche. And so I thought everything was taken care of. The verbal agreement with the landowner is that we make the purchase within a couple of weeks here. It's been going on for about a year, so that the due date with the landowner is June 11th. I thought this was going to go through today, so I was a little surprised. So that's why we're bringing it up again. There is some timing to this. But I understand Mr. Lafourche's not here. I didn't know of any objections he would have once we receive it.
Yeah, I'd hate for it to get voted down because you know, the guy that's responsible for it is not here. So we'll keep the deferment intact. Mrs. Esposito.
I just wanted to know if someone can get me the update on Ontario boat launch this week.
Is that a yes? Okay.
Ms. Esposito, what exactly do you want relative to that?
I want to know where we're at in that second phase.
Okay.
I think it's probably on Paul's desk, maybe. I believe from what IAD said, they had, when he was with that company previously, they had turned in preliminary drawings or something on it. I'm not sure.
I'll get it to you and email you everything.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Section W. Council reports, presentations, updates, and our question session 2, Mr. Melvin.
I just want to reiterate for any future rec districts that have any projects to please try to do them correctly, because just because your money's allocated, you have a set amount of dollars, that doesn't mean you can keep coming to council for money when you run out of those dollars that are allocated for you, especially when we may need other dollars to do other things. So just please try to plan a little better. Thanks.
Mr. Otan.
Just a public service announcement. So DOTD sent a message to the sheriff's office earlier today. Lockport Company Canal Bridge on LA1 will be under a one-lane operation daily, 8 a.m. to 3:30, Tuesday, May 30th, until Friday, June 9th, for a bridge inspection.
Thank you. Section X, discussion. Any further discussion on tonight's business? Being none, can we get a motion to adjourn this meeting? Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Adjourned, 7:35 p.m.